Hello everyone, welcome to our channel. Story 1. The Unseen Tenant. Sarah and Liam had finally found the house of their dreams, an old Victorian mansion on the outskirts of town. It was everything they had wanted, from the towering bay windows to the creaky floorboards and the dark, mysterious attic. The moment they stepped inside, they were captivated by its eerie charm. But it didn't take long for the house to reveal its darker side. At first, the strange occurrences were small. The light bulbs flickered without explanation. The temperature would drop in certain rooms, though the heater was on full blast. They would hear soft, echoing footsteps from the floor above when no one was upstairs. Liam laughed it off, chalking it up to the quirks of an old house. But Sarah wasn't so sure. She felt a presence, an unseen force that seemed to be quietly watching them from the shadows. It wasn't until one night, after Sarah had tucked their baby into bed, that the house truly began to reveal its terrifying nature. As Sarah passed by the nursery, she noticed something strange. Her reflection in the hallway mirror didn't quite match her movements. She stepped back, confused, but the reflection continued to move out of sync, jerking unnaturally like it had a mind of its own. Later, that same night, after Liam had gone to sleep, Sarah heard a soft creaking from the baby's room. She immediately checked the baby monitor, her heart pounding. The screen flickered to life, showing a blurry, distorted image of the crib. But the eerie part? The image was static, frozen in time, except for the small shadow that hovered above the crib. Her breath caught in her throat as she stared at the shadow, which slowly began to take shape. It looked like a person, tall, thin, with elongated limbs and a face that was just too pale to be human. Sarah screamed and rushed to the nursery. The shadow vanished before she could reach the room, but when she checked the baby, there was a disturbing discovery. Small, hand-shaped bruises on her baby's arms. The next morning, Sarah found more strange marks around the house. Handprints on windows, streaks of soot on the walls, and a lingering scent of something burning. The baby's cries grew more frequent and desperate, as if the house itself was tormenting the child. She began to have nightmares, vivid and terrifying, where a man's face, frozen in a grimace, appeared in the mirror, his mouth moving soundlessly, whispering words Sarah couldn't understand. It wasn't until Sarah uncovered the house's history that the truth became clear. The previous owner had perished in a fire, and his spirit was still trapped, lingering in the home, waiting for someone else to join him in his endless torment. But it wasn't just the man who haunted them. There was something far darker, something far more malevolent, lurking in the shadows. As Sarah and Liam tried to escape, they found themselves trapped in the house. Every door locked, every window sealed. They were never seen again. The house still stands, and the mirror, the one that reflected the tortured face, is still there, waiting. Story 2. The Basement Warning. Jack and Emily were ecstatic when they bought their first home, a charming two-story house on a quiet street. It was everything they wanted: a large kitchen, a big backyard, and, most importantly, a full basement where Jack could store his tools. When they first moved in, everything seemed perfect. But as Jack spent more time in the basement, he started to feel watched. It wasn't like he was paranoid, but there was something about the place that felt wrong. Old crates lined the walls, and the air was thick with dust. One day, while clearing out an old wooden shelf, he noticed something odd: a small engraving in the wooden floor, partially hidden by an old rug. It was faint, but there was a warning scratched into the floor. Do not open the red box. Jack, unsure of what to make of it, tried to ignore it, but then his curiosity got the better of him. He moved the rug, uncovering a faded old box sitting in the corner, just as the warning had described. It was small, painted in a dark crimson hue, its corners worn from age. As he touched it, he felt an unsettling chill crawl up his spine. The moment Jack opened the box, a strange smell flooded his nose, like rot mixed with burnt paper. Inside were several old Polaroid photos. At first, they seemed innocent enough, just pictures of the basement, taken over the years. But as Jack flipped through the photos, he felt his stomach drop. In every photo, there was a figure standing in the shadows of the room. At first, the figure was distant, just a silhouette, its features indistinct. But as the photos continued, the figure slowly grew closer. Each photo was a little clearer, and the figure's features more defined. Dark eyes, a twisted grin. But in the final photo, Jack froze. In that last image, the figure was no longer just in the background. It was standing right behind him. Its grin was wide, its teeth sharp. Jack immediately slammed the box shut, his heart racing. He tossed it into the trash and locked the basement door. But when he woke the next morning, the box was sitting on the kitchen table. And the photos? They had changed. Now, the figure wasn't just lurking in the basement. It was in the kitchen with him, staring at him from the corner of the room. Desperate to escape, Jack and Emily packed their bags and left the house. But no matter where they went, they couldn't shake the feeling that they were being followed. And when they returned to their new home, they found a new Polaroid slipped under their door. In the corner of the photo was the red box, waiting. And in the background, the figure, smiling. Story 3. The Mirror's Curse. Lily had always dreamt of living in a quaint apartment. When she found the perfect one, vintage charm with an air of mystery, she couldn't resist. But the one thing she couldn't understand was the large, ornate mirror hanging in the hallway. It was exquisite, its gilded frame detailed with swirls and figures, as if from a forgotten era. But the moment Lily stepped into the apartment, something about it felt wrong. At first, the mirror was just a relic, old but beautiful. But over time, strange things began to happen. Lily would pass by it, and her reflection seemed to linger a moment too long. The shadow in the mirror would move, or sometimes appear to flicker, just to blink behind her. One evening, while Lily was sitting on the couch, she saw it again. A figure, faint but unmistakable, appeared in the mirror's reflection, standing behind her. It wasn't her. It was a pale, gaunt woman with hollow eyes and skin like wax. Lily turned, but no one was there. Later that night, she heard tapping, soft, rhythmic, coming from the mirror. The glass fogged over, and when she wiped it away, the words, "Help me," were written across it in uneven, jagged letters. Terrified, Lily tried to clean it, but the words wouldn't go away. Then the nightmares began. She dreamed of the pale woman, her face twisted in silent agony. Each night, the woman's claws would scrape against the mirror, desperately reaching for Lily, her mouth open in a soundless scream. One night, unable to bear it any longer, Lily grabbed a hammer and shattered the mirror into hundreds of pieces. But as the glass shattered, she saw something far worse. A perfect reflection of the woman still standing behind her, smiling. The next morning, Lily's apartment was empty, her belongings gone without a trace. The mirror, however, was missing too, or so it seemed. When a new tenant moved in, they found a photo of Lily tucked behind the wall, standing before the mirror. But her reflection? It wasn't hers. It was the woman's, grinning.